So it wasn't really easy to detach myself from that relationship when I found out that this relationship was wrong. And I knew that the best option that I had to take at that moment is to just let go of this person, even though that I've actually spent some time with him, only to discover that I wasn't meant to spend the rest of my life with this person. It's not as easy as it is said, or maybe someone advises you to let go. It's not always easy. How to emotionally detach yourself from a wrong relationship. It can really be very difficult sometimes. I've actually been in that shoes of being in a wrong relationship where I found it difficult to let go, even when I knew that this relationship wasn't meant for me. I discovered that I wasn't meant to be with this person. Now I'm talking about an opposite sex. That was before I got married, before I met my husband. I've actually been in a relationship where it was actually a relationship that was geared towards marriage. We were planning on getting married, but the fact was that I got to realize that I wasn't meant to be in that relationship. But the difficult thing was how to let go, how to just cut the rope, how to cut the ties of my feelings that is so much connected with this person. And I just knew that was going to be the best option or the best choice I was to make at that point. But it wasn't easy for me. So many times I see people struggle over how to detach themselves from a wrong relationship. And that's what I want to share with you here. How I was able to go through, detaching myself, or, cutting off those ties and those bonds and those, strong feelings I had for someone who I later discovered that I wasn't meant to be with this person. And, how it all happened. It wasn't really easy to detach myself from that relationship when I found out that this relationship was wrong. And I knew that the best option that I had to take at that moment is to just let go of this person, even though that I've actually spent some time with him, only to discover that I wasn't meant to spend the rest of my life with this person. It's not as easy as it is said, or maybe someone advises you to let go. It's not always easy, uh, except if you have been in that shoes before. So I ran into this person, and it was really a nice one, a nice person, and I would say he is a Christian. And I don't think the first time I met him that I was scared of anything or having any issues with him. But the fact remained that when I discovered that he never had the qualities I wanted, we were not compatible. That was just the fact. We are not compatible. Because when it comes to marriage, or when it comes to someone you are planning to get married to, it is very, very important that you learn whether you and the person can work together, because marriage is about working together with someone. It's about, working together to achieve a common goal and common interest. So when I discovered that things weren't going to work between I and this person, getting off the rope, or getting off the feelings I had for him was so difficult. But here was how I was able to do it. And through my experience, I'm about to share with you on how to go about detaching yourself from a wrong relationship. So first of all, you need to make a list of what is not really working between the both of you, or what you feel is wrong with this person, because already you have discovered that this person is wrong. Like, this relationship is wrong. Not that the person is wrong, or that the person has a problem, or that the person is bad. It's just about compatibility. So now, when you discover that this person is not meant to be in your life, it is always good to be sure of what you mean by that. You don't just run into people's life and maybe waste their time, like maybe spend some years and want to get out of their life, maybe because you are bored about them. Because some of the relationship, you might assume that they are wrong for you, or in your life, a relationship that maybe you are no longer in that exciting season or exciting moment of the relationship, and you feel bored. You could easily tag it a wrong relationship. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about a purposeful relationship, when you discover that this person does not align with your destiny, that this person does not have the same goal. Your goals are so different, your interests are so different, everything about the both of you are just so different, and of course you know he's not going where you're going, and he might find it difficult to understand uh, who you are, or what God has called you to do, or what your purpose is on the earth. That's the kind of relationship I'm talking about. So when you discover that you are not meant to be with this person, it's very important that you write down the things that you feel makes the relationship wrong for you. Be sure of the things that you feel makes you incompatible, or not going to work out things with this person, because some people work with assumptions. Sometimes people are tired and stressed out and they feel that the relationship is not right for them, or maybe they had a little challenge in the relationship and they want to give up on the relationship because they feel that that relationships or marriage is about bed of roses, which does not exist. It does not happen. So what you need to do is to get a pen. You can get a paper. That was what I did. You can make a list of the things you have seen in this relationship that directly opposes who you are, or directly opposes your destiny or your future, or who God has called you to be. So when you make a list of the things you have found out in this person that makes this person so different from you, or that makes your relationship so or let's say unhealthy for the both of you to stay together, note those things. Be sure of what you're talking about. You don't work by assumption when it comes to this. You don't work by feelings too, because a lot of times feelings can fail you when things are not working fine. Of course, your feelings cannot be perfectly okay. So in relationship, you could be having a challenge. Mind you, that is not enough to put that relationship is a wrong one for you. So be sure of the things that you are pointing out as the problem, or as the things that makes this person so different from you, or that will not make the relationship work for you. That's the first step to take. So after taking the first step, which is writing those things or points that is not good enough, or that is not proper, or things that you cannot take, or he cannot take, or she cannot take. When you are done doing that, the next thing to do is to look at it closely. Just take a good look at it. Spend time with those things you wrote down there. Are they worth risking your life? Because now you're talking about detaching yourself from this person. It's not really easy when your emotions are involved, because emotions actually blinds people from knowledge. Sometimes if you yield to your feelings, you find out that you may not make the right decisions for yourself, or you might find yourself making some decisions that will later hurt or harm you. So when you are done writing these things down, just try and take a proper look at what you wrote down. Are they worth risking your life for? When you have discovered that, okay, these things I wrote down here are not good enough, they are not qualified enough to stop me from marrying this person or getting married to this person, then I think you should give it a second thought about how to work out things in the relationship. But when everything you wrote down, maybe you look at them very closely and think about them, and you find out that there are things you cannot handle. Maybe this person is so different from you, or this person is not a Christian, whereas you, or maybe the person is not a Christian and you are a Christian, or maybe the person has another religion. Of course, you have your do's and your don'ts, you have your boundaries. I always talk about people respecting one another's boundaries, because life is all about boundaries. So you know the things you can take and the things you cannot take. So when you are done listing it down, you look at them and try to find out if these are the things you can deal with. When you look at them and find that the things you wrote down there are things that you cannot manage, things you can't put up with, that even if you try to put up with them, that you are going to end up having a failed result, or that the relationship, you are not sure of the outcome of the relationship, then it is number one reason why you should consider it's being healthy in living the relationship. Every relationship is not healthy. It's not all the relationship and marriages that you see that are healthy. Some of them are so unhealthy. They are so unhealthy. It could kill, it could, cause a lot of damages in someone's life. So when you carefully look at the things you wrote down and find out that you cannot afford to risk your life for these things, then it is time to start, making plans on how to successfully work out of that relationship, devoid of the fact that your emotions is involved, because your feelings will always fail you. Feelings are not always there. Feelings, they come and they go. They don't stay. They are not permanent. They change just like moods. Feelings are like moods. So you cannot count on them. So it is important you work with the knowledge of what you cannot deal with. So that when you put it up before you and consider the fact that you cannot deal with these things, then you plan yourself and agree with yourself that for the fact that I cannot deal with these things that I wrote down here, then I'm going to walk out of this relationship. I'm going to successfully leave this relationship for my health's sake, for destiny's sake, for purpose sake. It's only you that knows why you want to let go of the relationship. And now the next thing to do is to choose a yes or a no over what you wrote down. Yes, you have written down the faults and everything that you find difficult to put up with or you think you cannot handle. So the next thing to do is to choose a yes or a no. Yes, you have the right to decide whether to stay in a relationship or not. You don't let anyone manipulate you into staying with him or her, because when you do so, you cannot wake up the next day or next time to blame them over manipulating you. If you blame them, note one thing: it is not their fault. You have the power of choice, you have the power of decision. No matter how much someone pushes you to stay and stick with them, always remember that you have the power to decide on how you are going to live your life. Even though you are meant to decide rightly, you are meant to look at matters the way it ought to be and choose what goes for you according to the will of God for you, so that you will succeed in life. Yeah, but always remember and know that you have the ability to say yes or no in or to a relationship or to someone. So when you are done writing down those things, it is very good to choose a yes or no. If you have chosen a no, which is about detaching yourself from that person, then run with your no, because you know that no that you are giving to this person is for your good and for the good of the person. When it has to do with relationship, remember that it's about you bringing something to the table, while the other partner is also bringing something to the table. It's not just about you. Going into a relationship with someone or into a marriage relationship with someone is not just about you. You are bringing your life together to make yourselves better. So when you are saying no because you are sure that things are not really going to work out with you and this person, you are doing yourself a favor and you are also doing that person a favor. Because when you walk into a relationship and that relationship, you are not there with your heart, you find out that you cannot give your best and you are not going to be a blessing to that person. Neither are you going to be a blessing to yourself, because now you are not happy over the relationship, and there is no how an unhappy person is going to make someone else happy or satisfy someone else. So when you are saying your no, you don't hide your no. If it is a no that you have chosen, then stay with your no and believe in it. So now it's about your feelings. I know, like, how, okay, I want to say no, but I don't feel like saying no. Now that you have made a choice of detaching yourself, which is your no, now the next question is, how do I go about it? Because my feelings is still not saying the no I am saying. Yeah, that's just the way it was. So now, as a Christian, what you need to do is to pray for yourself. It's always good that you learn to pray for yourself. The Holy Spirit was given to us as a help in our lives. And the job of the Holy Spirit is to help us in places that we cannot help ourselves. So there is nothing wrong in praying for yourself over self-control. It's so important. Of course, one of the fruits of the Spirit we have is self-control. But in this situation, if you're still struggling with getting yourself off it, it's so important that you take out time to pray for yourself and ask the Holy Spirit to help you put these feelings under control. Of course, I did that. There was a time that I couldn't just get over the feelings. I wanted a different thing, and my feelings was opposing what I wanted. Of course, what I wanted was what I knew was right, but my feelings wasn't saying the same thing. So I knew that at that moment, I need the help of God. I had to pray for myself. I asked God to help me to put my feelings together, because I really need to walk out of this relationship because I just discovered that the relationship wasn't meant for me. So I prayed for myself before I took the next step. The next thing to do after you must have prayed for yourself is to boldly walk to this person that you are in a relationship with. Remember that it's not their fault that the relationship wasn't going to work. You just discovered that both of you are not compatible, and you have to draw the lines to help yourself and to help this person. So what you need to do is to try to explain to this person to understand your reasons or your purpose or what you are about to do. It's not just good to just draw the curtains like that and just shut the person out and making them feel terrible. In as much as they are not going to be excited over any of your reasons or explanations, but it's always good to approach them to tell them your reasons. Just make sure you explain yourself politely that this is why you want to do what you have to do or what you are about doing. Do it in a very good way. And I believe that is if it's someone that has an understanding, the person will let you make your choices. So after you must have explained to this person on your reason or wanting to let go of the relationship, whether they want it that way or not, but of course you are settled within yourself that this is not meant for you and you just have to go. The next thing you have to do is to practice the act of killing the communication. That is just the way it all begins and ends. If you can deal with the communication in the relationship, if you can stay away from the communication, it's really going to help in taking out the feelings, because the more you expose yourself to that close communication, that close relationship, like always being around, always calling, always texting, always chatting, always doing those things, there is no how you are going to get over the feelings. There's no how you're going to get over that feelings no matter what. So what you need to do is get busy, get yourself busy, even when you don't feel like. Sometimes you'll be tempted to call, you'll be tempted to visit, you'll be tempted to do just do it the other way you used to do it before. But you have to strategically stop yourself from doing those things, like calling always, checking on him or her always, texting, chatting, and all those things. So you intentionally walk yourself out of the close communication. Just try as much as possible to stay away from the communication. If you can stay off the communication, the feelings will softly drop. Carefully walk through this path that I've guided you through this video. You'll find out that you will definitely get better, because I've been there and it worked for me.